Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Gaming Podcast Live. I am your host, Psyche, on this very special DigiPride edition of the show as we dive into all manner of the most curiously captivating queer conversations on the web. We're live as normal here on Twitch today, but it is our first ever time being live on TikTok as well. Welcome on in, everyone. I would love to see some hype in the chat on both platforms today. How's everybody doing? Hello. DigiPride is presented by Healthy Sexual, Wizards of the Coast, AT&T and Xbox, and sponsored by Devolver Digital and Marvelous. Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a lovely day and a lovely start to Pride Month. Today, we are continuing our series of DigiPride Roundtable Special. So I would love it if you could please welcome the wonderful Deere and Radderss with me today. Hello, both of you. How are you doing today?
Hi.
Hi, I'm doing okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Honestly, super exciting to be here. Like, I didn't realize this would be our first time on TikTok as well, and I was just like, "Oh, cool, my debut! Hi,
we're making a TikTok debut.
Hi, TikTok. Follow me on Twitch, please."
Love that. Unfortunately, today we were to be joined by madiduvernay, but she was unable to make it. So please do welcome Deere and Radderss, and yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to come and chat with me today. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Before we get started here, we do want to give our listeners a chance to get to know everybody here. So we're going to introduce ourselves, and I'm going to very rudely pass the buck over to Deere and ask if you would mind introducing yourself first.
How rude. No.
That's me.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. Good morning. It's just afternoon 12:04 here in California. So I got into drag very, very early, but I'm very happy to be here. In case you don't know me, my name is Deere. Let's play what you fear. I like to play scary games on Twitch, on TikTok, everywhere I can be, everywhere I can. My favorite things in the world are horror video games and drag. So what I do is smash them together, and here we are. I've been doing it for 7 years, nearly 7 years, and I'm so happy to be able to represent for my community and make a difference where I can and just lead by example and be cute and queer.
Excellent. Love to hear it.
Happy
and
Pride.
Radderss, would you mind introducing yourself as well?
Hi, I'm Radderss. It is currently 9:04 p.m. over where I am here in old Netherlands. And yeah, I am a queer and disabled bi-furious and disabled creator here on Twitch. I'm also somehow Twitch ambassador, which is like, oh, okay. Yeah, I pretty much just mostly make content that's like whatever will make people happy. So I'll play like any game as long as it's interesting. So essentially everything but sports games is my jam.
So true.
Right?
So true. Everything interesting except sports.
Yeah, who
so
wants
silly.
sports?
I agree.
So I play pretty much like everything but sports games. I have 4 incredibly chaotic cats, one of which likes to bully me on stream every day I'm live.
Love that for you.
Do you want her?
Sure. I mean, I collect them apparently. So yeah, I'll take another one. For anyone who doesn't know, I have 5 cats, which Radderss has 4. And Deere, you said you have a cat as well?
I have 1. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's only a matter of time. Well, I am Psyche, and I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I am shy and bi, and I like games that make me cry. And I pretty much also play pretty much anything that isn't sports because, you know, like who can be bothered? Sports
There's
is for
a lot
other
of
people.
Hetero negative.
Sports is for the straights.
It is though. That's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you both introducing yourselves. Before we get started, let's take a quick look at how you can keep yourself healthy in all situations with the following video from DigiPride partner Healthy Sexual.
Honestly, no one wants to think about HIV, but there are things that everyone can do to help prevent it. It starts with getting tested regularly. If you're HIV negative, you and your healthcare provider can decide if PrEP may be right for you. PrEP means routinely taking prescription medicine before you're exposed to HIV to help reduce your chances of getting it. And it can be 99% effective when taken as prescribed.
Talk to a healthcare provider about all your HIV prevention options. Our health is worth protecting.
Absolutely amazing. Love to see it. Thank you very much to Healthy Sexual for partnering with us for DigiPride. So, as this is a very special roundtable episode, we will be dedicating all of our time today to the big question. And today, that big question is, how do we beat online bigotry? What do we do about it? So, I'm going to be asking our lovely guests some questions, and we're just going to have a nice kind of flowy conversation around this very important topic. So, the first thing I'd like to ask is would you be able to share some of your experiences with bullying and bigotry that you have had online? Whichever one of you wants to go first.
Yeah, sure. It's interesting because the bigotry that I've kind of seen most of the time directed towards me has kind of been a little bit more subtle. Because unless I'm wearing something very obvious, typically it's very, like, it's not the easy, you can't just assume somebody's sexuality from what they look like 99% of the time. You can't just be like, oh, they're this person or this person. You have to, a lot of the times, kind of get to know a person for a few minutes just to kind of see where they're at, and depending on what they share, right? But I found that, like, the more vocal I am, the more people are like, oh no, like, you're gonna go to hell, or oh, you're spreading lies, and oh, you support people that want to mutilate kids and all that other stuff. And it's just like, no, okay. So I a lot of the time end up not really getting a lot of kind of like hate comments unless I'm on front page. Because there's just something about, like, apparently, like, the things that I say or do that is so entirely offensive that they have to click through and be like keyboard warrioring just everywhere. And sometimes I'll engage a little bit. It depends on my mood. Typically, if it's like an evening stream, I have very few Fs left to give.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, no, okay, cool. I'm just going to tear you down as much as I can within TOS, and then I'm going to ban you so you can't respond. But a lot of the times it's just like, I'm quite fortunate in that I'm very fortunate in that I, like, especially, like, even with, like, disabilities, my disabilities are invisible, and so my sexuality is mostly invisible unless I choose to broadcast it. And so a lot of the times it's quite nice to just kind of be in my own lane and have my people around me. But then as soon as I'm popped onto front page, it's just no.
Yeah.
It gets tiring because it's 2023 and it's getting worse.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that's frustrating me the most, is that it's getting worse. It's getting more often.
Absolutely.
Now.
I think
I feel like people have
especially
been emboldened.
Yeah, the current climate is really, really bad with a lot of, like, things that are happening. I know this is something that's happening pretty much across the globe as well. So definitely. What about you, dear? What kind of experiences have you had?
Do I experience bigotry and hate? No, my life is perfect. We all wish we could say that.
Yeah,
And I think that
absolutely.
everybody experiences some sort of negativity in their lives, but my line of work, what I do is I take my my artistry and my expression and I put it on me as a costume. And that is probably the number one thing you can do to flag yourself to it's like othering yourself through your expression. You know what I mean? Like radderss just said, it's like people don't know until you broadcast it, until you amplify it in whatever way it is. And drag does that. It's empowering for me to put on drag, but it also just, it becomes that signal for people to be like, oh, you're weird, let me just call you out. And not a day goes by where I don't have hateful comments on all of my socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, you know, like all of them. And it's tiring, it's upsetting, it's just bizarre that people just say exactly what's on their mind. Like, I don't know, maybe it was the way I was raised, but like when I have negative feelings, I keep it to myself. I'm like, let me ignore it, let me push it away. And other people just want to spout it. Like they can't push it aside in their mind. They can only push it aside once they've said it. And I'm not that kind of person. I can I could just, if I ignore it, then it usually dissipates, it goes away. But when I started doing this, I was like, online is cool because you can just do it wherever you want to be, and you don't have this like safety issue. Because if I go outside in drag, I'm in California, but you never know who will look at you a certain way or talk to you a certain way. And online, everyone is faceless.
Yeah.
The negative words and stuff like that, like it's easy to turn a blind eye to them and just focus on the positive ones. So it's like a double-edged sword, I guess, in that way.
Yeah.
But
I recognize that very much. We were talking about this on my stream today, actually, because again, it's very not obvious that I am queer unless I say something specifically, obviously, because that's how sexuality works. But I'm quite vocal about it on my streams, and I got a kind of mini hate raid on Friday, and it was my first day of Pride. And because I wasn't streaming on Thursday, and I was like, it was fine, because I feel like when you've been doing it for so long, you kind of just get used to it, which is terrible because you shouldn't get used to it. You should never have to. But I had just tons of people following with like very personalized like hate names that were directed at me, and having to like try. I had a sponsored stream, and I was trying to do the sponsored stream and not look at the things people were saying. And it is really tricky because it does get tiring. And at the same time, like I see what you mean about like the in person, you obviously don't have the kind of like barrier that the internet provides. But at the same time, on the internet, people feel emboldened to say whatever because of anonymity, and it's really tricky.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that I mean, I've been streaming for like what, 7, nearly 8 years. So I've kind of had all of the things that could be said about me said. The most hatred I get is for my weight. Like, because it is the most visible thing about me is the fact that I'm fat. And so people typically will only like pivot off into like about my sexuality or disability, health status, whatever, if they kind of become aware of that. But the thing that's helped me kind of dealing with it is one, getting my self-esteem in check, because if my self-esteem is strong, nothing they say can bring me down, because I won't believe a word of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the second thing I did was to realize just how desperately miserable those people must be, because a happy person doesn't think those kinds of awful thoughts about anyone else.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't, because being miserable is miserable, right? And you only really want to make others sad and depressed and down and whatever. You only want to pull them down to your level when your level is that low.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the only thing that like sometimes gets me through it. If I've had like a really rough time on stream, or I put a post out on social media that went viral because I was too much of a lefty gay, you know, and it's just been like kind of swamped with like, you're disgusting, you should just die, blah blah blah, blah, like whatever. Okay, and then like the only thing that gets me to sleep is like, well, at least I'm getting laid, or at least this is happening, or like at least I'm happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely like my biggest like advice to most people in general, if they have to deal with bigotry, is one, to get yourself safe, because there are many places in the world right now that are just not safe. Like, don't go do public things, don't broadcast your address, all of that stuff. But then like find that self-worth, find that self-love, and hold on to that in every interaction that you have.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
I think you said something so interesting in that, like, they must be really low if they're feeling those type of things. And I think it's really true, because when like a new game comes out, or like I'm so in love with my boyfriend, or I'm so in love with my cat, like all I can think of are these like happy things.
Yes.
It's like all I can think of are these butterflies around these things. Like, negativity doesn't even like cross my mind. So it's like, I hope that they feel better someday.
Yes.
Like, I hope that they can feel better, because when I'm streaming, I'm in my element. Like, look at me. I'm feeling gorgeous. I'm feeling amazing. My makeup turned out right. My hair is laying. I'm playing whatever game I like. I'm wearing nails. I mean, they're all on. None of them have popped off yet. I mean, nothing can hurt me, because I'm I'm just on cloud 9.
Yeah.
And a negative comment, like, I don't know about y'all, but when I'm dressed like this is my like suit of armor. And someone will say something negative and literally like maybe I'll read it or maybe I'll think about it for a second, but usually I'll forget it in 5 minutes. Or
Yeah.
maybe not even 5 minutes, maybe even 5 seconds. It's like, oh, they're upset, they're saying something. I'm just gonna do me, I'm gonna focus on this.
Absolutely. And I think the interesting thing that you said earlier, dear, was that like when you have a negative thought, it doesn't stick in your mind and then you don't feel the need to voice it. The fact that these people not only have these thoughts about other people, but feel the need to voice them and like are compelled to tell people shows that they're in a very negative space, but it's also not our responsibility to fix that. And I think that's
Yeah.
really important because
Mhm.
we don't have the capacity to resolve whatever problem it is that is causing people to react that way. And
Yeah.
protecting ourselves is so important. Absolutely.
And it's not to say that we don't all struggle and we don't all have like a
Yeah.
bad day. Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
I'll be like, shoot, my hair is not laying right. I don't like that
Mhm.
thing that happened. Like my mom called me and told me something upsetting, whatever. But I think that when we focus on those positive things and like video games, I'm sure for both of you are a form of escape.
Yeah.
And when we focus on the things that make us happy, like we can spread that love.
Mhm.
And those even on our roughest days, if we're focusing on the things that are positive, I think that the negative words are just a whisper.
Yeah.
They're not the loudest words in our mind.
Absolutely. I do want to kind of then talk about how we see platforms in the industry combating hate, because that is something that obviously as things become more difficult and it becomes more common for us to see bigotry, especially because of the current climate, it's so much more important for the industry to take action. So what kinds of examples have you seen people like places like Twitch or like any online games or like multiplayer game lobbies and stuff? What kinds of things have you seen the industry doing to try and combat hate?
Well, I think that Twitch as a platform is pretty cool, generally speaking. I think that they have missteps, as all things do, but I think that what makes Twitch different to something such as I love TikTok, but it's different than TikTok, it's different
Yeah.
than Kick, it's different from Facebook, it's different from all of these different platforms because I think that the people that work at Twitch do mean well, at
Yeah.
least at the base level, they mean well and they want
Mhm.
marginalized communities to thrive and feel safe amongst themselves.
Mhm.
When things get amplified, like on the front page or during events or during Pride and stuff like that, I think that things can go off the rails and they can lose control, which is unfortunate. But I think that things like um, automod and like putting a chat into follower only or subscriber only or emotes only, and I know that they have made it
Shield
so
mode.
shield mode, yes. So
Yeah.
they have all these different tools where on the individual basis between yourself as the streamer and your moderators, you can really put yourself into the safest mode you can.
Mhm.
That doesn't say that these trolls still can get in there, but at least you
Yeah.
have something to deal with them once they're there. I think that the biggest problem is that people can just keep making new accounts and like there's
Mhm.
IP address issues and stuff like that. But I feel like those are really difficult things to master and moderate on a big scale, but at
Yeah.
least we as the creators have things at our disposal. And I know that one of my moderators was talking about something where like when you report an account that you're a moderator on, like someone comes to my channel and they do something weird and then they report them. Then when you're in someone else's channel, when you're a moderator, it like will flag them and say that they're
Yes.
suspicious. Because I've seen that on my own where it's like, why does it say that that's suspicious? But that means that they were a bad actor somewhere else
Yeah.
where you're associated with that account.
I
I
think
don't I don't
that's
know the
really
nuances, but
useful.
it's so useful because then you're
Mm.
like, you already know as soon as they're entering the door, you're like, something could be
Something's
up
up.
with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually want to share something on that because the thing that happened to me on Friday with all those accounts following with the like horrible names and stuff, they were unable to chat in my chat because I had set up the Twitch like verification settings where you have like you must have a mobile phone number attached or like an email
Mhm.
address or whatever. And I have it set so that anyone whose account is newer than a certain age or it's their first time or whatever has to follow those rules. they were unable to chat. And the only reason I saw them was because I had a channel point redemption for 100 points that says hello. So they were pressing that. So I was like, well, I'm just going to turn that off then. And then they just couldn't say anything. And then they stopped because, well, they weren't able to get through. I couldn't see them following because I turned those off and the channel point redemption was off. So they just couldn't say anything. So they were following my channel and I was like, I don't even know they exist. So I think those kinds of features are really, really useful because it really, after the like massive like hate raid situation we had a couple of years ago where it was particularly bad, that single feature has fixed so many of the problems that I was having where like even on the front page people would come in. Now it's significantly harder for them to chat. So it means that you don't necessarily even know they exist. And I really hope it makes them angry. I hope they come in and they try to type something and they can't. And they're like, oh, okay, I'm mad now, but can't do anything about it.
All you can do is laugh in the face of a troll.
Like,
that's it.
Imagine them just like starting to type and then it's like, you cannot send a message, and they just spam their keyboard for a little bit, get really frustrated, grab another bag of Doritos, grab another Mountain Dew, and just like chug the pain away, you know? That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Suffer, please.
I've witnessed it where like there must be some sort of cathartic kind of feeling when you're a troll and you say something hateful and someone like responds to it like upset. But I've seen so many people like lose, like there's only so many ways where you can notice someone losing their cool through a digital platform like a chat room. But I've seen people like really pivot their responses or like try to be more angry, like turn on the caps and stuff like that when I just respond in a blasé manner. You know, when you just disarm them completely, I mean the troll doesn't even know what to do anymore.
I feel like the moment you don't give the emotional response that they were hoping to get out of you, then all it does is make them more upset. Like they were already like furiously angry or sad or just desperate to have some kind of human interaction. I mean, clearly they must surround themselves with equally miserable people, so I understand why they'd come to us, just fantastic people, to try and get some social interaction. But it's the moment you're kind of just like, you act like you don't really understand what they're saying, and then each time they try and clarify, you're just
that
like,
is my favorite.
Wait, sorry, I don't get it. What do you mean? And like you're trying to like make them really get to the point, really mask off, say it out loud, and then by the time they say it, you're like, ban, or like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I agree, and then you just carry on with your life.
As if it didn't happen. It's great.
At one time, what are the rules on swearing on this?
I mean,
can I say shit?
I think so.
I would say go for it.
It's all right. Our producer can yell at me.
Private chat. Do it. Okay.
Do it.
So one time, like, I remember somebody came into my channel and it was, I was doing like a Bloodborne front page thing. And this was way back before like shield mode and other such things. So I'd had like a couple people trickle in and like make comments about my weight and stuff. And I was like, all right, okay, whatever. And then somebody came into chat and was just like, hey, have you got any advice? I really need to gain weight. And I was just like, oh yeah, eat shit. I didn't mean like you go and eat shit. I genuinely meant, yeah, just eat shit. Just shovel it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then like the moment that I said it, I was like, oh, you were being rude. Oh, there was okay. And then I was just like, fine, I said that.
I guess that worked.
you meant to say, you were just like, eat stuff, but like you said, eat shit.
Yeah,
and it like it
was like my subconscious was just like, no, you're clapping back right now, and like my innocent brain was just like, I'm gonna help them gain weight. It's fine.
Love that.
That's
amazing.
Hilarious.
So with we've kind of talked about Twitch a little bit, but like, what about things like online game lobbies and stuff? Have you seen any of those kind of like where bad people who have been reported a lot end up like getting queued up together, and the only people that they get queued up with are other people who've been reported a lot and stuff like that? Have you seen that in any of the games that you've played? Or
I love that. However, I've taken a big step back from like public lobby gaming recently because I'm just so tired.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I haven't got the energy to begin with. Like but for any of that, so I've stepped back for a little while because it's kind of like, just as the like growing global like culture war has kind of like risen up, so has like the vitriol that you get in those online gaming spaces. I do appreciate the games that have gone like, okay, if you get ranked too low, we're just going to start putting you all, like, everybody that's been like reported as a shithead can just all go together.
It's like
and
Ugly
then
Island.
it's perfect, right?
I mean, I see how it works. I remember whenever I used to work in the games industry on the other side, and I remember there being conversations when I first started of like how people didn't like the idea because they thought it was just going to make it worse, because like if you go onto this, like say you get moved onto a server in an MMO and it's only people who've been reported a lot, that you're probably just going to continue, like, you know, surrounding yourself with negativity. You're going to become a more negative person. But at the
It's
same
like an
time,
echo chamber, right?
yeah, exactly. At the same time, I feel like there have to be ways that you can stop those people from having a negative impact on everyone else. So, I mean, short of them being just not being allowed to communicate with people, like there are some, you know, drastic measures need to be taken sometimes. But something I saw on TikTok the other day was a person who had a very homophobic name in Valorant, and it was just this one person, and they'd been queued up with a group of 4 people, and all 4 people that they'd been queued up with were part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And they were talking amongst themselves and they're like, oh my god, he's got into like the worst game ever for him because we're all queer. And then it moved to the loading screen, and his entire team had different like pride flags as their banner, and the entire enemy team had rainbow pride flags. So it was just this one guy with like 9 people who were like, oh,
they're like,
well,
hold
isn't
up,
this interesting?
hold on,
Oh my god,
just a second.
Amazing.
Did they all turn on the one guy?
I don't know, because they cut the video and I'm like, I really need to see what happened to this guy, because like he literally just queued into 9 queer people and him, the homophobe. And I was just like,
Yikes.
well, maybe he'll learn something.
Mhm.
Probably not though.
I don't know when y'all started gaming, but I started gaming like since I was a child. But like when I was like first like really playing online games and like joining little voice calls in the game and stuff like that was early 2000s on the Xbox and the PS2. Okay. And I was like in middle school or high school, I forget. It was somewhere, life is a blur. It was somewhere in there, early 2000s. And I would use my brother's Xbox Live account to play Dead or Alive. Okay. The fighting game with the big boobs. My favorite.
Yes.
But people would be so vile and so awful. And so that sort of resonated with me because I'm just like this little girly boy, just like you can tell from my voice. And it was always very, very mask, hetero kind of sounding voices. Obviously, you don't know exactly who they are, but the things they're saying are misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic. And that just resonated with me, where I just didn't want to play games on open voice comms. You know, like even if I would play open lobbies, I would always have the voice off.
Yeah.
And I just taught myself to have that guard up. And it wasn't until Twitch where like I would sort of sometimes test the waters. Like I was playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the open play test a few weeks ago, and I was actually talking a little bit in those open lobbies because I learned from friends that like queer people sometimes just need another queer person to pull them out. And sometimes people are understanding and they don't get hateful, but I still just feel uncomfortable most of the time just open lobbies with open voice, because it's just, I don't know what'll happen. And I've had so many women that are like, I don't do it. I have people assume I'm a man when I'm playing games because I don't want them to know I'm a woman so that they don't target me.
Yeah.
It's just
really
sad
annoying
that it's like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really frustrating. With regards to like this kind of feeling like we can't be open on the internet and we can't be open in like gaming lobbies and stuff, what kinds of things do you think you'd like to see the industry do more? Like, be it like gaming companies or like Twitch or TikTok or like social media or whatever. Have you seen any specific good examples that you would like to see translated into other areas, or are there just other things you'd really like to see done?
I think just like when accounts are reported like by multiple different other accounts, like it's not just a spam account, but like there's some sort of reason for reports, I want them to be taken serious, and I want them to be either removed or like we talked about, moved to Ugly Island. That's the only people that they can queue up with, something like that, because sometimes games don't always have like an obvious kind of report feature.
Yeah.
Either to report or to see that action has been taken. So I just want it to be taken seriously, whether I see it or not. I know that like games like Dead by Daylight, like they have pride events, they have like rainbow logos, they partner with queer people that are like loud and proud queer people. And I know that Dead by Daylight just released that they're going to have like reports, like the actions taken on reports will be shared with the players making reports. So that's really exciting, because then you know that your voice is being heard and that something is happening behind the scenes. Because like I said, sometimes you just have no clue. But whenever I see companies following me back on socials, I'm like, oh yay, because to me it's like, it's exciting to be followed back, obviously, as an individual, but I feel like a champion of my community. I mean, if a gaming, like whether they're the publisher or the developer or just like the game's face profile, if they're following a drag queen back, it means that they care about our community. If they don't follow me back, who knows? Maybe it's some other reason. Maybe I don't have good enough content. Maybe I don't maybe I'm not notable enough. Maybe they didn't see me play the game. But like if they follow me back, it means that they care about our community in some kind of capacity, because they're willing to be seen with a drag queen in today's times. So like, for example, Gun Media and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they followed me back, and then I was chatting with some of the people, and then they stopped by my stream hyping me up. Like it's just like, it's really cool to see companies be proud, because it's also another thing just to put a rainbow logo on your profile, but actually like meaningfully interact with your fan base. It means a lot to me, because it just feels like a win for our community. Obviously on an individual level, it's like, oh my gosh, they like me, but also it just means that they're okay with us and the things that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the like the kind of it's almost a little bit difficult to with a lot of the bigger companies like pinpoint specific actions that they're taking, because we've all seen how rainbow capitalism has been on the rise for quite some time, because for a while there we were having a few years of progress where supporting the LGBT community was profitable. Right? And now it's becoming less profitable because of the rise of hatred and the like Nazis. Just gonna say it.
Fascist Nazis
are
white
back.
supremacy.
I don't think the Nazis ever left, but they're bloody back. Like, and so, a lot of the support that I've seen is very clearly like conditional or performative. Just having like a little pride logo in June. Woo, we love y'all. Slay the gays. Woo! And then the next month they're like, slay the gays. Slay. You know what I mean? So I think that we have like with like Dead by Daylight, but also like Sea of Thieves has an incredibly inclusive community, not just for like the LGBTQ community, but like many marginalized groups. And it's just, they have such a strong community. They have such a like staunchly dedicated fan base. And it just goes to show that like when a studio like really commits to the values that they hold and the values that they publicly preach, that authenticity resonates with audiences. And even like just straight people or able-bodied people or the white people who aren't really part of the specific inclusivity that they work on, they all recognize that like they have a space to just be themselves, belong. Everybody's like sharing love to one another, and it's like a good community that forms out of it. But it's something that takes a lot of time and quite a lot of the time pushing back against shareholders if they're a bigger company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, a lot of very rich people lean a certain way or have a certain point of view. So yeah, I think that's the biggest stumbling block, I think, for a lot of companies that are like, oh, we can sort of like play both sides. Nah. One day it all comes out.
Absolutely.
that facade that you have of like, oh, we support you, you're welcome, blah blah blah, it will crumble. And so we've seen like various companies kind of get like caught up in certain like conversations and rows and stuff over like who they support publicly or who they support politically or where their donations and stuff go to. And I just think that in the long run, companies and communities that such as like Dead by Daylight and Sea of Thieves, they're the ones that are like the long-term ones that have the longevity because they have that like authenticity, but also just like being very clear.
Yeah.
Like being very clear cut about it and moderating the communities. The only way that you can really like stamp out bigotry in your individual communities is to moderate it hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of places don't do that. I don't think there's really ever going to be any kind of like global moderation of this because people as a whole are just so varied, you know? And as much as we would like for like, you know, even so even if I was like the half smartest person in the world, there are still 49% of people that are below me in that sort of respect in terms of like, I don't know, whatever is needed for empathy in the brain, intelligence or whatever. So I just have to assume that like half the people are better than me and half the people are worse in this respect and go, okay, so like, am I good or not? Like, you don't know. So like, we can all do our best for our own individual things. And we can, if we have like connections with companies or we end up working for a game studio at any point, like we can use our influence to try and like get things in the right direction, be more inclusive and more like have just like better equality across the board for all of this stuff. But I think as a whole, it'll be very difficult to kind of get rid of bigotry everywhere just because of the number of spaces people have to talk in now.
Absolutely. And you actually brought up something really interesting about like kind of keeping yourself safe, and like both of you have spoken about kind of the doing things on an individual level, and I do want to talk about that more, but I have really good news, and madiduvernay has been able to join us, so I would like to bring her on now. Hi, Maddie.
Maddie!
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. So sorry, I'm not smart these days.
That's okay. Is any of us smart? Maddie, just before we continue the conversation, and dear, I think you also actually had a point that you wanted to make as well, but before we go back into that. Oh, okay, that's fine. Maddie, would you be able to introduce yourself just super quickly?
Yeah, I'm Madiduvernay. I use she, they pronouns. And I just be doing things.
Relatable. Excellent. So thank you so much for joining us. The question we just asked was about what we think the industry should be doing to combat the kind of hate that we see online. And do you have anything you would like to say on that kind of topic? Like, what would you like to see the industry do more?
I was listening in on what was said, and I agree with what was said as well. I think personally for me, I think the industry still is so far away from inclusivity and equity when it comes to the content that they make and as well as the creators that they reach out to.
Yes.
I feel like it's still really sad that I've been streaming for 2 years and it's very seldom that I see people like me involved in the process of streaming, gaming, what have you. Sorry, my cat also wants to be the center of attention. But yeah, I just want to see more people like me up at the top, you know.
Yeah. I agree.
Not that much to ask.
No, it's not.
And I think
people don't think about the kind of importance of representation and see like the power of seeing somebody who's like you and the power of seeing somebody who's like you succeeding and doing something really great actually inspires more people to get involved. Like you would see, for example, like LGBTQI plus people, if you see people streaming and having like an amazing time and like enjoying talking about these issues with their chat and whatever, you might be motivated to start streaming or motivated to start gaming. And then that increases the kind of representation. But if those people are never actually seen anywhere or are never promoted. Or like radderss was talking about how like Sea of Thieves, they have such a like kind of across, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but like they're involved across the board with their community, and they've kind of made it very clear what their stance is and what their beliefs are. If you don't see that happening in different industries and in different like games and stuff, that's it's a real shame, because you're not standing up for the people in your community, and that sucks.
Yeah. I feel like it's just it's very weird for us to have to like beg people who are up at the top, who have the power and like the privilege to make a change and speak out, to like beg them to do it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of them these days, a lot of people that are kind of at the forefront of content creation care more about the image of themselves, other than just like actually speaking up about things that are important. Because I mean, there's a lot of things that probably don't affect a lot of people, whether it's in companies, creators in general. And so if it doesn't affect them, they're just like, I have no reason to speak up about that. Like, I have no reason to do anything. But there's such a huge reason to do something, because they have the ability and the privilege to create change and start change.
Yeah,
and everyone's listening to
platform.
them. Absolutely. So I want to bring back the conversation we were about to start, kind of about like how you keep yourself safe. So what kind of techniques do you have to like protect yourself? Because as much as it shouldn't be necessary, obviously it is. So like what kinds of things do you implement to keep yourself and your community safe on Twitch or on other social media platforms, etc.? The tea is important. I recognize that.
It's going cold. I've got like 5 seconds until it's non-drinkable.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I put more priority over keeping my community safe than I do keeping myself safe. Because like, I also just can I cuss?
Yes, we've established that that's okay, so I think we're just gonna go with it.
Shit.
Okay. The word shit is allowed.
I like starting shit with people who attempt to start shit with me. And so like, if I see something that I don't like, or if I just don't allow things to like go down without me saying something about it. So like, and I do that without thinking of like how that could affect me.
Yeah.
Because my overall goal has always been to make sure that they don't negatively affect other people. So like, I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about safety for yourself as a creator, because I don't think I care.
I respect that, to be fair. What about radderss and deere? Do you have any techniques that you personally use, or are you also a shit stirrer?
Well, I think that I chose the right line of work at this point in time in the United States, at least, because it's like people are going to drag shows and they're picketing them, or they're like just all the headlines and the negativity. And thank goodness Tennessee is overturning the laws that they have been approving. And I hope that legislation sets a precedent for other states, because unfortunately every state is their own state and they can do their own things. But I chose the right line of work on one hand, because I put my drag onto the internet. I don't go out to shows unless it's like a special appearance. And so nobody can really picket my appearances, because I'm just appearing on my own socials and my own channels. And you have to like make an account, and you have to like pass the vibe check, like the auto mod or my real mods will stop haters at the door, essentially. So like, I don't have to deal with a lot of things, but my heart goes out to all of the drag artists that are just trying to do their thing, just trying to entertain, just trying to create spaces to have queer joy, because that's what it's all about. It's about our own community. It's not about the communities outside of it, because if it's not for you, it's not for you. You don't have to turn up. But people are turning up and throwing hate and throwing words, and just people are threatening to bring guns to drag shows and stuff like that. It's just like wild and awful. But I think that if we have anything at all, the internet at least provides, like, you know, to have a hater, you have to like read their message. If you don't read their message, or you have the auto mod, or on YouTube, I've noticed like comments will automatically be flagged if they contain certain words. Like there's things that are in place in the digital space that at the base level protect us, and it's just about us being diligent and taking the right steps to protect ourselves. Like I don't share my exact locations, I don't share my legal name, I don't share like completely where my friends are. I'm very aware about doxing and stuff like that, and I try to take advantage of all those different tools that we mentioned earlier. So that's what I do. Hopefully that answered your question in some
Yes,
respect.
absolutely. Yeah. Radderss, what about you?
I think, you know, just like Deer said, it's the place that we are showcasing our art, talent, joy, what have you, is online. It's in our own spaces that like we are curating as we create every single time that we go live. And so we have that kind of fortune that there is a greater level of safety there just on a physical level, at least. And so, you know, the best way that we keep ourselves safe is by doing the things that we should all be doing to keep ourselves safe online as a whole, because you know, with the anonymity, there are so many aspects of just being online as a whole that can be quite dangerous, you know. So like if I'm going out somewhere for a day, I don't talk about it until I've been there and come back. You know what I mean? Like I could say like, oh, I've got an appointment today, woo, but then I won't talk anything more about it until I've already been there, come back. And then if for any reason, whatever aspect of what I was doing that day is like offensive to bigots, at least I've not given them an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like I'm not conceited enough to think that like every time I go out the house, like someone wants to come after me. Someone wants to take me down. Oh my God, I'm such a threat. But it's just the general thing of like, you know, don't reveal certain information. Don't have certain things show up on stream, like protect your payment, protect your passwords, all of that stuff. But, you know, I think every single community is vulnerable to like hatred and bigotry in some fashion, because a bigot is a bigot and they will find something to get pissed off about.
Yeah.
They will find
100%.
something to justify their rage. Anything, like it doesn't matter. You could have just like one single like article in the background of your video that annoys somebody to the point that they have to write a 600-word comment about it, you know?
Yeah.
So use the tools that are available on every platform, wherever it is. You know, if you're on like a social media like Twitter or Instagram, block the accounts, mute certain words so that they don't pop up. If you're on Twitch, you know, have the auto mod set to a level that you're comfortable with. Make sure that there's like verification forms available for accounts to talk in your channel, because then at least the people that are, if they are going to say something awful, they've had to go to the effort of verifying themselves before they do. And then you're like, okay, cool, bye. And they're gone.
Time wasted.
And if they use that same number, I'm pretty sure they'll still be blocked in your channel.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So you kind of like given yourself a little bit of an out on the whole like account thing, because they can't go to any of their other myriad of verified accounts to actually talk to you again, because they're just gone. They can't come back.
Bye.
And it's just a case of like, unfortunately, you have to be diligent. You have to do all these things before the first time you go live, before you put the first bit of content out. And then through the experience that you get just from creating content, the various kinds of people you meet, you'll start to kind of learn over time what is a bit false flaggy or what is a little bit suspicious or what you should look out for, to like continue making your community and your space as positive and happy as you want it to be.
Absolutely.
But it just,
That's actually a really good segue, because I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the tools, and we did kind of talk about that a little bit at the beginning. But Maddie, since you joined us a little bit into the conversation, I was wondering, do you have any like tools that you use that I know you said that you're quite happy to like kind of like clap back at people who come in and just say something stupid, but do you have any like tools that you use on Twitch or whatever? What kinds of like moderation options do you use to make sure that your community is protected?
Well, SiriBot is my best friend.
I've heard good things.
Best friend, because as soon as you get like a bar raid or even a hate raid, like you just see a bunch of banned accounts down the chat.
Amazing.
And I'm like, oh, you love to see it. So all I have to do is like turn off notification sounds and for a little bit as they pass by, and then I'm just like, I'm still doing my stream. I also have like phone number and email verifications turned on, which has helped a lot. Because as much as I love to clap back, I also don't like being interrupted. So
that's fair.
As soon as a troll or a bigot tries to interrupt my train of thought and my line by being an absolute asshole, I get very angry. So, but that helps a lot because most of the time trolls, they either don't have the account that they can attach the phone number to anymore, or they're too lazy to set it up anyway. So I'm just like, gets them out of there before they even get in.
Absolutely. I think the verification and also the something you mentioned earlier, dear, was the if the phone number is attached to an account and then they come in on a new account with the phone number attached to it, there is an option, I think, somewhere where you can turn it on where it like automatically flags any account that's connected in any way. So either it gets banned automatically or at the very least gets flagged as a suspicious user. And honestly, those two things, absolute game changer, 100%. Like I said earlier, the follow hate rate that I got would have been so much worse, and there would have been so much more posted in my chat and a lot more moderation that was having to happen on a sponsored stream, on my first stream back, the first stream of Pride, if I didn't have all those things turned on because they couldn't do anything, which was pretty great. So does anyone else have anything else that they would like to talk about, like tools wise, like anything you would recommend for people if they're starting streaming to try and kind of like protect themselves or their community? What kinds of things? Like, do you use the shared ban list option that Twitch has with anyone that you know, or are there any other things that you use?
I can't use that because I ban my friends for fun. So like Blizzbear would be banning everybody's channel, Julian, like there would be so many people that would come in as a suspicious user that aren't.
Oh no.
So
fair. You know what? I don't know Blizzbear, but I literally see screenshots of Blizzbear has been banned or has
literally banned that's his entire shtick is banning people in his chat because I think he has a thing. It's like a wheel pops up if you do 5 gifted, and it's like a RNG whether you get banned or not. So
amazing.
You've given me a terrible idea.
So literally, you can ask anybody within like Team Neat Dude. None of us can share a ban list because we all ban each other.
So I want to do it.
Not
like,
very useful.
Oh my God. Imagine you're doing like a subathon and you're just like, each time you give 5 subs and survive, I'm gonna add 1 more ban to the wheel.
And then it's just a whole wheel of ban. Like you just automatically. I'm sorry, you know.
I love that. You see, I had thought about doing that with like a D20, and then like you roll a D20, and it's like if you fail your DC check, you're banned for at least a day.
Ooh,
and then I was like, I would enjoy that too much.
Yeah,
dangerous.
Yeah,
love that. Okay, well, if we don't have any more tools and stuff to recommend, I think we can move on. Now, the next section is going to be a quick fire round of questions. They're a little bit more lighthearted than the conversation we've been having so far. But before we get into the quick fire, the AT&T Turn Up the Love Tour is back and bigger than ever. So I'd like you to check out this video real quick.
Turn up the love. Turn up the music. I wanna dance and you could take my hand and we could keep on moving. Turn up the love. Turn up, turn up, turn up the love. Turn up the love.
Slay.
Amazing. Find out more about the AT&T Turn Up the Love Tour, including how it is celebrating the LGBTQ community, supporting the Trevor Project, and where these free events are being held by visiting turnupthelove.com. And thank you all for that very interesting and insightful conversation. I really appreciate it. Like I said, we're going to be doing some quick fire questions. It's just a little bit of fun. I'm going to essentially, I don't know, like spin the bottle style, pick a question and a person ask. I mean, it's a little less exciting than spin the bottle, but I will ask a question and then don't think about it too much. Just kind of off the top of your head, what kind of thing comes to mind. So let's get started. I'm going to pick on radderss first.
Okay.
What was the one game that defined your childhood? Oh yeah, we're kissing. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. One game that
Ooh.
defined my childhood. Oh gosh. I think it was called like Tombo. It was this game. It was like a side-scrolling platforming game where there were like evil pigs in your village, and you had to like.
Did the guy have pink hair?
Yes.
Yes, I know that one.
Yes.
I think it's
Amazing.
Tomba.
Oh
like
yeah,
the
it was called like
PlayStation or
it
the
was like
N64 or
yeah, it
something.
was called like Tomba in some countries and Tombo or Tombi in other countries, and I never know like
Interesting.
which region has which. But that was a game that just kind of like stuck in my brain
Mhm.
my whole life.
Amazing. All right. And Maddie, do you have a game that defined your childhood?
I think I have two.
Go for it.
The first one I didn't play. My mom did. I would watch my mom play the Silent Hill games on the computer because she loves horror. I grew up loving horror and all that stuff. So every time she would play a game, I'd like sit behind her and like watch her play it.
Amazing.
And then the other one, it was a mobile game, and it doesn't exist anymore. It makes me so angry.
I hate that.
But it was like a neon ball. And you had to like move your phone to get it to fall down. Like you had to keep it going, like fall down like lines and stuff, but it would get faster. And then me and my friends would always play it and try to beat our high scores, because if you didn't get to the bottom, it would squish the ball at the top and then you'd lose.
Do you know, I think I played a Flash game like way back when Flash games were like a
Flash
thing.
game.
Oh my god, like I was like 12 or 13. Yeah. So I think I played something like that, but like it was a browser version of it. So
Yeah,
that was
I don't remember what it was called.
No, haven't a clue. You know what? There was a game like that, one of those like whatever websites that had those kinds of games, and there was one I played where you were a fish and you just ate other fish that were smaller than you and became a bigger fish, and it was amazing. And I have no
I saw
idea
an
where it
ad
is.
for a game like that yesterday.
There's ads that are like that. The game is never like that.
Yeah.
Only the
No,
ads-
No,
the ads always
It's
lie.
true.
It shows like this huge fish, and then it goes all the way down. You see you, which is like this little tiny fish you gotta eat before you get to the big fish, so you can eat the big fish. Very interesting.
Amazing.
So
And dear, what
bonus-
about you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Bonus one last quick shout out to Windows Pinball 3D for saving my childhood when we didn't have internet. Thank
Hell
you.
yeah. Pinball, amazing. And dear, what about you? What game defined your childhood?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
I
Amazing.
love fighting games and I love colors. So I love how all the characters are like, they all wear monochromatic of their color. There's like so much characterization and camp to the games. And I love how the violence, like, I think most gamers like enjoy violence in some kind of way, but I like when the violence is like wild and exaggerated and out of this world and just
So over the top.
crazy. Like it reminds me of Friday the 13th, the first movie, like where all the kills, like there's one through a bed and then there's one with an arrow in the eye and stuff like that. Like if you're going to do violence, make it just ridiculous
Yeah.
and just out of this world. And I feel like Mortal Kombat has always sort of taken that and risen to the occasion. And Mortal Kombat 2 has Melina and Katana, and they're my gals.
I was just gonna say, are you a Melina or a Katana person? I absolutely love both of them.
I
But
am
Katana
Being
was
bi
my
is, right?
But what'd you say?
That's what being bi is, right? That's
Yeah.
why I
You don't
love
have to
them.
choose.
Yeah.
You can have them
Yeah,
both.
okay.
They're a Katana.
I like Melina. She wears pink, first of all. And then
Fair.
second of all, she takes off her mask. She's a monster. To
Yeah,
me,
love that.
as a little kid, I was like, that's me. Because I feel weird inside. I have to put on my mask every day. And now I'm a
Oh, I
drag
love
queen,
that.
so I get to wear a mask of makeup. every single day.
Perfect.
Me with my autism.
The unmasked.
ADHD.
Melina's an allegory for othered people, I think.
Yeah.
It's like about
Yeah.
code switching and having to wear your mask, act like
see
you're
that.
normal, just like you're at the party, you're at the wedding, you know, I'm normal, I'm blending in, and then you can go home and you can eat men.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Love to do it. Next question, then I'm going to direct at Deere. Who's your favorite video game character? Since we're talking characters.
Melina.
Is Melina? Okay, well, there
I would say that
For
there's a
reasons
lot
previously
of
listed.
different characters that I like, but Melina is like my early, like literally my mom kept like second grade quizzes, like whatever they were about grammar or math or whatever. My mom kept quizzes because I was drawing Melina on the bars, like on the margins.
I
So-
love that.
Melina always spoke to me, and she's one of my absolute number one favorite characters. She's been confirmed for Mortal Kombat 12/Mortal Kombat 1, so that's really cool. We're winning.
Amazing.
I like other characters like Ulala from Space Channel 5, and I like Poison from Street Fighter and Final Fight, and I like Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I also like Chris because he punches boulders. But I like tons of different characters. If they're campy, if they're wild, if they're ridiculous, if they're exaggerated, I mean, they speak to me. If they're feminized in some kind of way, or obviously sexualized in some kind of way, I think that it speaks to me and the things that I find empowering.
Okay, cool. And
You would love
Radder.
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta, she's actually my background to my computer because she's
Oh, well, there we
love
are.
that. Hell yeah. Love
God,
to see that.
This is like the worst question for me. Because my problem is that I if a game has like really good music and a really good story, I fall in love. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter like who it is, what it's about. If there is something like really truly authentic about the story that like hits me right in my soul, that's becomes like a forever love game for me. And I have hundreds of them at this point. So like how do I pick one single like perfect favorite protagonist? I can't. Like games are fantastic.
Okay, I'll change the question. Absolute hottest character in a video game.
Oh hell yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I've got a little bit of thing for Abby from The Last of Us Part 2. I like
Fair.
a woman with muscles,
Mm.
right? There's just something about like a really strong, like, you know, Lady Dimitrescu. There's just something
Fierce.
about a step on me kind of woman. It's just
Is,
like
is Abby the
add
one with
to
the
every
braid?
game. Yes.
I only played the first hour, so I don't love her yet.
Oh, but don't worry. That there is a scene at a later point that definitely makes her a little more sexual.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's nice.
Maddie, do you have
I'll
a
keep my eye
favorite
on it.
character or a hottest or both?
Overlap. separate.
They overlap. I don't play a lot of story-based games, which fucking sucks. I need to start doing more. A lot, and I also really got into gaming for the first time when I started streaming. So like a lot of mine are more
That's cool.
recent. Here's the thing. I read Stardew Valley fan fiction.
Who?
Yeah,
Dude.
I need to know.
Sebastian.
Oh, hell yeah. I love it.
And I love him so much. And I recently picked up Stardew again, but I got the diverse mod.
Oh,
And
yes, I've seen that.
yeah, the diverse mod makes him Vietnamese with a bunch of piercings, and I was like, oh. And there's also more characters added because I added the extended mod and the Ridgeside
Yes.
mod. So
I
there's like a
love
bunch of
mods.
more diverse characters in the game
I
now
love that.
too. So I'm like in love with all of them. And I guess more known favorite character that I like deep dived into like the backstory of was Trickster from DVD.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get behind that.
Mhm.
I've started really liking characters like so my favorite character is probably Garrus from Mass
I
Effect.
was
Mm.
I was gonna say, am I allowed to give a special shout out to a bird? But I didn't want to
Because
like
literally the weird bird alien man, I'm into it. Like I
Like-
just
like I don't know what's going on down there. I really don't. but like I can tell what's
There's a
going on up
connection.
here, right?
Yeah,
Based
there's a
on like
connection.
when you do the romance with him, and he's
Yeah.
just like so goofy but also sweet.
Mm.
And is a really crack shot with a gun. So he's
Yep.
like a wonderful package of like, he's the
I
perfect
love him.
husband. Have him. Like, it doesn't matter
I
what's going
have
on
a
down
body
there. There's
pillow
toys,
of him.
right? I don't blame you. As soon as BioWare put that for sale, I was like, I gotta do it. But didn't have
Did you
money.
see that they've released a body pillow of
Rex?
who's just, and he's like a double body pillow because he's just massive, and I'm
He's
like, I need
thick.
it.
But yeah.
There's no room for my partner in our bed anymore because it's
Just
just
you and
body
your
pillows.
It's
You and your
just
pillow and your
you-
cats.
It's
my
you and your
God.
entire Mass Effect team getting ready for the next
Yeah.
excursion.
They
Just
were-
like, oh,
I am completely failing at quickfire questions. I'm so sorry. So let me jump in and ask another one, and I'll try really, really hard to keep it quick. What game are you most looking forward to in 2023? And I will start with Maddie.
You'll
Looking kind of concerned.
me? I don't know, to be honest.
Fair.
I've heard of games coming out, but I know a lot of the games coming out are like either games that people like kind of grew up with that are like
Mhm.
it's
That's
like a
definitely happening.
continuation, you know? And I didn't grow up with a lot of games. So it's like I'll hear games are coming out and I'm like, oh, that looks
Yep.
cool. And then I forget
Cool
immediately.
game.
Yeah. And so I'm like, cool. I don't know if it's coming out this year, but I'm excited for the Chocolatier game from the developer of Stardew. I don't know when that's coming
100%.
out, but I'm excited for. That's the only one that I can think of.
That's fair. Deere, what about you?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Ah,
August
yeah.
18th.
A lot of
need
my
it.
friends
I want
are
it. I
excited.
gotta have it. I love it.
Amazing. And Radderss, what about you?
I got 2. Alan Wake 2, which I think is coming out this year,
Mhm.
judging by
Mhm.
everything that's coming out about it now.
Yes.
And this like really cute indie game called The Plucky Squire that's kind of
Mm.
like Paper Mario, but like not Mario. And you play as this like cute little squire, and your whole world is like filled with various artistic references. There's like little mini Van Goghs and a little Mona Lisa all painted around the world and stuff.
Cute.
And it looks beautiful and it looks fun and interesting. And I love indie games. They're so good.
That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to Starfield, and I'm just really hoping that it's awesome because like I play a lot of space games and sandbox games, so I'm like, it looks perfect, but we'll see how it goes. I'm trying to be like not too optimistic, especially because like I don't want to like rag on a game, but I feel like Gollum came out. I didn't know it was coming out so soon, and then it came out and it's not done very well. And I'm just like, I'm trying really, really hard to like temper my expectations so that I don't get too excited. But I'm going to get too excited anyway because I don't know how to not be. It's so hard. I am going to ask maybe 1 or 2 more quickfire questions before we wrap up, I think. So let's see. What has been your favorite game so far this year? And we'll start with Radderss.
Like a Dragon Ishin.
Ooh,
Like,
I haven't played
Hands
it.
down. Hands down. I love Yakuza games. They're so good. And Like a Dragon Ishin is just like, okay, we're going to take all the wild and crazy that's usually in a Yakuza game, but also we're going to let you like adopt random street cats and dogs, and you can do fishing and farming and just like other things. And it still has karaoke. So it's just,
Amazing.
it's perfect.
And Maddie, what about you?
This year, I
Doesn't
haven't.
have to have been released this year necessarily. Like just something that you've maybe played a lot.
That's so valid. Oh, well, I play a lot of Valorant, but I wouldn't say I like the game.
That's
That's fair.
relatable.
That's fair.
It makes me sad. But I do love Valorant, but you know, you just
Like
the
a love
anger.
hate kind of.
Yeah. I think I don't play a lot of it anymore, but I'm going to pick it back up eventually. Disney Dreamlight Valley. I got really obsessed
Oh,
with that
fair.
because it's just so cute,
Yeah.
you know. And then they added
I get that.
Stitch, and as somebody who has
Oh, Stitch is cute.
Oh, weekend show and tell.
Stitch.
Oh,
My-
she's cute.
Oh,
Stitch.
big boy.
literally
That is
they
adorable.
did the update with Stitch, and then I was like, chat, do you think a life-size Stitch plushie exists? And then we searched for it,
Amazing.
and then I
Love
added
it.
it on my wish list, and it was immediately bought for me.
That's
I
so
love it.
cute. I love that. Amazing. I did
found
play a
the
little bit of Disney
life-size
Dreamlight Valley.
Shrek
It's so
cutout.
good.
You've got a life-size what?
No,
I'm sorry,
I found a
Oh.
life-size Shrek cut out, and I put it on my wish list, and I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the
Just
day
gotta wait
somebody
for it.
decides that like 60 euros is worth it for
You
that.
just gotta wait for it.
So, there's got to be
Amazing.
someone.
There's somebody
Someone
out
that
there.
will be like, you are
Absolutely.
getting a Shrek. But
Yeah.
I do have a Shreky DeVito, so that's good.
Yeah,
I
I've
did
been
see
looking at
that.
that.
Yeah.
I was like, is that Dr. Honeydew or is that a green Danny DeVito?
It's Daddy DeVito as Shrek, so
I
That's
keep,
my
I keep
God.
accidentally making eye contact with Shrek DeVito, and I'm like, what's going on here?
There's something there.
One of our eyes met across the room. Dear, what has been your favorite game of the year?
My favorite game that's been released this year, probably Resident Evil 4. I think that it was
Yeah.
done very well. But I already mentioned it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. I was hooked. It was supposed to just be a 3-day technical test, but we
Mhm.
got, I think, 5 days total, and I was
Mhm.
just like over the moon. I was just like loving it so much. I love the whole vibe. I love the sound design. On top of that, the devs are really nice. They came into my stream and they were talking to the community and hyping everyone up. Like, they just seemed so kind and inclusive. And they also put special attention to make sure the characters that you play as are sexy. And it's just really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Can
I just
I-
want to say, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm so sorry because I forgot about it for some reason, but Demonologist.
Oh,
Oh,
Demonologist
yes.
is cool.
It is so fun. And as somebody who
fun.
was heartbroken that I couldn't play Faz anymore, I was like, I need a new ghost hunting game. And then Demonologist came out and I was like, oh, thank God. And it's better.
Yep.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I really like it. I would like to
Thank
play more
you.
of it. I've only played a little bit, but it's
Thank
really
you for
fun.
informing me of that game's existence, because I've been
You're
looking
so welcome.
for I've
Oh,
been looking for a
Demonologist is
new
cool.
Phasmo.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really scary.
And
I
you
miss
can
doing the
hunt
spooky
ghosts in your
hunting.
underwear.
It's true.
Yeah, you can just be
Everyone
naked.
can.
Oh my gosh.
great.
And you can have a
you
cat in your house.
can have a cat in your
You
house.
can have a cat.
Yeah.
And the
I
more
can get
that you
naked
stay
and
in the
have a cat?
lobby, yeah, you can adopt
Yes.
a cat
What
and it
does
can be
this
in your
mean?
like room.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
the longer that you wait in the lobby, like the longer you wait to start a match, the more the cat eats and it gets fatter and fatter.
It's so
Whoa.
cute. It's the
Cute.
best.
It is so cute, and they have little
good.
tiny like Easter eggs where they'll like have like words all over the maps where if you say it out loud, it does something, and
Mhm.
it's just so cool. It's so
It's
cool.
really
super,
cool.
super cool.
You can customize the
Okay.
lobby and all that. It's just amazing.
What I'm hearing is we probably need to play that sometime.
Absolutely.
Like there's just
Yes.
the four of us. We just
Correct.
have a
Yes.
podcast
Go.
reprise, but it's just
Yes.
demonologists.
It's
We're
just
all in our
demonologists and
underwear,
lots
we-
of screaming.
We're all in
In our underwear.
IRL and
Amazing.
in game.
I was just gonna say
a
IRL
party.
maybe.
Should we just get like matching underwear?
Yeah,
Yes.
why not? Let's go all out.
Correct. Yes.
Sure. Pride
Just wear
Week,
like
even better.
a nude bodysuit with underwear on top.
I want to
Perfect.
wear like
That could possibly
the
happen.
ugly chest swimsuit. So I just
Yes.
have
God,
hell
yeah.
yeah.
You know what? Speaking of, I just want to say thank you very much to Kiki Bunny for raiding the stream. And I know for a fact that Kiki Bunny, I'm pretty sure, has that swimsuit. So last question for like a kind of quick fire thing. If you could sum up your stream in one word, what would it be? And I'm going to ask that to Deer first.
Camp.
Putting you on the spot. I'm sorry. Camp, did you say?
Camp.
Love it. Amazing. And Maddie?
I have to say lickies, and there's only a few people who understand.
You know
Let's
what?
go.
That's valid. That's completely valid. And do you want to explain, or is it better left not explained?
I don't know how it came about, but in my stream, you have to get licked in order
Okay.
to be in my stream. And so there's like a channel point redemption of people getting licked every single day, and you have to get licked. It's
Makes
a
perfect
lick
sense.
only stream. I was
You've heard
gonna
of Get
say
Lit? Get
exactly.
licked.
And I have a sign that says get licked. But
Amazing.
it was gonna be that or another word that I didn't know whether it would be okay to say. So I decided on the family-friendly version.
That's fair. I respect it. Radderss, what about you?
sorry.
That is also incredibly valid.
Sorry to who?
Yeah.
Literally, like the universe,
Myself,
like,
my
stuff I put
community.
out into this universe. Like sometimes, like you just have to apologize for what you do, and
We've all been
I
there.
love that. Like, there's no thank you. Like, thanks to my community. Thank you, mom. Thank you. It's sorry.
Sorry.
well, it's
My
like
bad.
sorry, but also thank you because someone has to be the outlet for this. So thank you.
It's needed. Absolutely. I would say for me, chaos, because I think that probably just encompasses literally everything. I mean, there is a clip that I did not know Twitch was going to use, but they used in one of their recap videos of my cat jumping into my Christmas tree when it was behind me, and the whole thing just coming down, and he just went with it. And there's so many clips of him just like inside the tree. It's the one that keeps jumping past the camera or coming through the curtains, and he's a disaster. So am I. I mean,
I love it.
My second word was going to be chaos if you found that sorry wasn't descriptive enough.
Better than my second option.
I really want to know what it is, at least off stream now. I'm very excited.
I mean, I could say it if you want me to.
I have no problem with it.
I was going to say come. Because it's a rule in my chat. I added a sound bite to my stream that said it was from this TikTok that was making fun of companies for their pride campaigns. And the end of the TikTok ended, "Feel free to come in me." And I added it as a sound on my stream. And then it just became a thing that if you're not subscribed, you can't come. You're being edged the entire time. So it's no cummies without the subbies.
I got it. I got it. I love that those are the two things that you chose to describe your stream. Amazing. It gives me exactly what I need to know about what your stream is like. I love it. All right. So
it's a very
go ahead.
to be in.
I do have a feeling that the word cummies has probably induced some kind of horror inside of me. I may have nightmares tonight.
Cummy wubbies? What? You don't like the cummy wummies?
I mean, like the cummy wummies. They's okay.
I have lost control.
You've never got cummy wummies.
They was okay.
Well, goodbye, everyone.
I'm never being asked back, but
I don't know. I think we are gonna be the ones that are like.
Control was always an illusion. It's true.
Yeah.
We got one strike as the host. You know?
Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right, so I'm going to wrap up by asking where people can find you and what kind of content you do and what projects are coming up for you. So I'm going to start with Maddie as well.
Hey, what's up? I'm madiduvernay. You can find me everywhere at madiduvernay. I make acting content on TikTok. And I talk shit on Twitter, and there's a cat meowing.
Leia, Maddie's talking.
And I don't know, come hang out if you want to get licked.
Amazing. I also would like to say before I pass on to the next person that our producer just said, are we allowed to cancel us in Pride Month?
No, that's homophobic.
I don't think it's allowed. I think everybody has to be nice to us for the rest of the month.
That would be homophobic.
Yeah, don't be homophobic.
No.
Radderss, where can people find you on the internet?
If you watch this and you're like, oh dang, I should go follow her and like watch her content because clearly she has really intelligent things to talk about. Then you can find me over on twitch.tv/radderss, spelled exactly the same as this. Don't forget the second S or you will get very lost.
Cat!
And I love Leia so much already. That's Leia, right? Her name's Leia. Oh, she's such a princess baby. And honestly, all of my time could just go to Leia. I am unimportant. I do not matter.
She's so beautiful.
Find me on social media or on Twitch. Okay, back to Leia.
This is Leia.
Leia and Deere, would you like to tell everybody where they can find you on the internet?
My name is Deere. Let's play with your fear. I'd like to play scary games in here, and you can follow me at twitch.tv/DEERE. And this is Leia.
I love Leia so much.
Oh, she has such like little evil eyes, but like in
I
the best
love it.
way.
She's got resting bitch face.
You love it.
Yes.
like her mom.
I
It's
love
not just
it.
resting though.
Oh, so much.
Radderss has gone feral.
Valid.
And thank you everyone for joining us today. I will say, if you want to find me wherever, if I haven't been cancelled during the course of this podcast, my name is Psyche. I am streaming on Twitch 4 days a week as twitch.tv/Psyche, and then I'm Psyche Plays on almost all social media because Psyche was taken, as it always is. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. I really appreciate it. And everyone in chat, please say a big thank you to dear Maddie and radderss for taking the time to have this wonderful conversation with us today. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, Leia.
Yes, Leia, thank you. I think Leia is the star of the show so far. My cat has just become, I don't even know.
Become void.
He has become a part of the curtain.
My dog is
in
pillows.
Oh, I guess we're in
No.
Maddie's channel. Cool.
Why?
Tommy Wummies?
No, I'm putting a stop to that.
Well, somebody said canceling cum is homophobic. So
That is true. That is true. Do you know what? That's fair. I think that's fair.
all right.
On that completely unrelated note, a huge thank you to our DigiPride partners. Healthy Sexual.
On that note, we are sponsored. Thank you so much, everyone.
What is happening on the screen right now?
The best
That-
life-giving supplement you can find.
I would like to say that wasn't me.
Interesting.
Try that again. Big thank you to our DigiPride partners, Healthy Sexual, Wizards of the Coast, AT&T and Xbox, and sponsors, Devolver Digital and Marvelous. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us for this very special and very chaotic roundtable episode of the New Gaming Podcast live season and our very first time on TikTok. We'll be live on Sunday for a special watch along of the Xbox Showcase hosted by the returning regular host, the wonderful Mia Bite, alongside special guest Hydro. Until then, you can follow the Gaming Mag channel on Twitch here or subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss any of the amazing shows. And of course, podcast clips can be found on our TikTok as well as other awesome stuff. So make sure you go follow Gaming Mag now on TikTok so you don't miss out. See you next time, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.